Hi, it's Mark Rogers out here again with you today. I was out doing another training video today, and I just decided I'd deal with something else here while I'm here, and I have my Glock 23 pistol with me. The notion, something that's pretty disturbing, and you see it all over the internet, is there's a lot of complaints about how you have to pull the trigger on a Glock pistol as you take it apart. That notion is out everywhere now. It's on some very serious gun sites by some very serious and experienced writers and gunners that you have to pull the trigger as you take the slide off. The reality is you do not have to do that. Of course, there's all kinds of examples of people being shot and people shooting their hand, obliterating their hands and so forth with their guns when they're pulling the trigger on their Glock, and that actually does happen. But here is what happens, and here is why. I'll show you first of all what's happening where people are having to pull the trigger, and then I'll show you how you never will have to pull the trigger taking a Glock pistol apart. First of all, my Glock pistol, I'm dropping the magazine and I'm going to clear the chamber. Okay? Now I'm going to point the gun in a safe direction. In this case, I'm pointing it at like a 16-foot berm behind me. So I'm going to, and there's nobody behind the camera, by the way. I'm going to pull the trigger. So you point the gun in a safe direction and pull the trigger just like you would if you were clearing your chamber at home and fooling with your gun or dry firing or whatever you're going to do. You just clear the chamber and pull the trigger. Now, when I take the gun apart, watch what happens. I don't have to pull the trigger while I'm taking it apart, because the trigger, it is true that the trigger has to be pulled and the striker has to be released. But what's happening is people will get these guns, and when they start trying to take them apart, what they do is they will, this little lever down here on the side has to be pulled down as you pull the slide back. What they do is they pull the slide back too far. They pull down on the lever, they let the slide go, and it won't go off. They have to pull the trigger to get it to come off. That's where people are shooting each other, shooting their hands, doing all those kind of things, is because they're pulling that slide back too far. It's resetting the striker and the trigger, and then the trigger has to be pulled. So basically, to keep from doing that, to keep from shooting somebody, to keep from shooting your own hand, when you get ready to take your Glock apart, you just simply clear your chamber, pull the trigger in a safe direction. Then, when you take the gun apart, pull your slide back about that far, the lever down, and it comes right off without you ever having to pull the trigger on that Glock. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to pull the trigger on a Glock pistol as you take it apart. You do not, you never will, and you never have to be that unsafe. That's what I wanted to cover today. Hopefully that'll help you with your Glock pistol, or if you're deciding, or you're trying to decide to buy one. I've been carrying one now for 10 years. I highly recommend Glock pistols.